Okay, here to me is the most interesting part of the clip, or of the video, this clip here, because you can see here, she's hyper. She's running to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, way too far. She's overflanking. And then I try to tell her, okay, stop doing that, and she resorts to her second favorite thing, which is sniffing around on sheep poop. But now, she's coming back. She's still, wagging her tail, distracted by the ground, but, she's following us. And we've gotten work like this before, where she follows us, but she's, sniffing the ground at the same time and prone to wander off occasionally. And so, that's part of the learning process, but right here is the transition into really thinking harder. And one thing you notice is her tail slows down. Wait for it. Right there. Alright, and then her head starts getting lower, but she's not sniffing the ground. You can see she's watching her sheep. And she probably thought that was a legitimate flank, but once she gets running, sometimes she gets pretty excited. But you can see that so back there she was, she had her head down, she had her tail still, and so she's going in and out of focus, as it were. But I have her stop here so she can think about the situation a little bit more. But at this point I'm really pretty pleased because I saw the kind of work that I really had not seen before. She was able to devote her full attention to the sheep, even though she was just walking. Walking's a little more boring for her. Here she's trying to get away with a sit instead of a down. But I asked for a down. There you go. And the sheep run away. Which is kind of unfortunate. Because then she does that. This might be one of the lessons where she spent the most time chasing sheep. And she loves chasing sheep. But as you can see, it's not a work thing that she's doing. It's a play thing that she's doing. And, all dogs go through that. And part of the difference with Kola is that she's very, very fast. There she's starting to trot along, and I'm moving really fast to try to keep, I like to be able to say, good girl, and so I'm keeping myself on the correct side of the sheep. And she's close, but it looked like she got a little hyped up. And so now here she is again, and the problem she's having is that the sheep are kind of stuck to Dave, and she's trying to bring the sheep to me, and she's actually staying reasonably calm about it until, but in her defense, the sheep weren't being very fair with her. They were sticking to Dave more than they ought to, but they're just trained like that. So I had her take it down, think about things, and she actually got up, and as luck or skill would have it, the sheep decided to move. And then she curled around and got behind them, and actually that looked pretty good, I thought. And she's starting to lower her tail and focus. She's running over to us, but she's slowing down, which is not something we've seen a lot of. But yeah, she's really looking at her sheep. She's thinking about her sheep. Looks like a proper border collie there with her head down and her tail low. And she gets a little excited every now and then and goes and flanks. Or, gets distracted. There, she's back. Alright. And then she slowed down. And historically, we'd sometimes had a problem, once she was at high speed, she didn't really want to stop being at high speed. And now she's really thinking, oh, look at that creep. Look at that. Head so low. You watch any full-blooded border collie and they do it just like that, except they have shorter legs. She struggles with that a little bit. She's got a border collie mind, but Labrador legs. So there, I mean, look at that. She's really slow. She's too close. She's pushing the sheep ahead of me. And now she's a little confused about where she should be. But, she's thinking hard about the situation. You can see, because she's not spending nearly as much time sniffing the ground. And she's keeping her eyes on the sheep. And border collies are what's known as eye dogs, and one of the things they're supposed to do is they're supposed to watch the sheep very intently, and they're supposed to move the sheep with a glare. And this line right here I was really happy about. She's leaning to the right a lot, and so that black-faced sheep particularly likes to step in front of me, and I don't want to put too much pressure on her because she's doing, this whole time I'm going, good girl, good girl. So, really look at that creeping. And, on the one hand, I wasn't really able to get ahead of the sheep like that, but on the other hand, she was working hard, and she was containing her enthusiasm to a useful venue. And, so creeping along. And I'm kind of moving her with I'm trying to wiggle my fingers a little bit but there she goes, right back there to the right. Dave says it's pretty normal for dogs to lean one way or the other, so she's a right-handed dog, I guess. Right now she's a distracted dog, but she's itchy. He's definitely more interested in the sheep than the itching, but sometimes you just gotta scratch. And apparently there was a hang glider, or parasailer. But